Hello everyone. So in the last video, we added form handling inside our login page. Now we are going to do the same for the signup page. So here I am inside the signup.jsx file as you can see, and this is inside pages auth. Okay, and inside this component we have to do the same thing. Let's first take a look at what are the all fields that we have over here. So the first one is name. So user has to fill their name. Okay. After that, we are also requiring the user to fill their email, okay, then their password and also confirm their password, okay. And at the end, we have the submit button. So what I'm going to do, we are just going to, take the help from the login.jsx. So first of all, let's get the imports. So I'm just going to copy yup resolver, use form and yup, okay. Copy these three, go to the sign up page and paste these imports over here, okay. Now the next thing is to create a schema for the validation. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this schema and inside signup.jsx, we're just going to paste it. Okay, so over here, I'm going to paste it. Let's also remove this extra character that I typed by mistake. Now, after that, you can see we are using yup to create the schema. We have defined the email field. It has to be a string, okay, and it has to be a valid email. Then we are also making the email field required. Then we have the password field. Password field will be a string. It has to be minimum of 6 length. Okay, that means 6 characters at least, and it's also required. Now let's also add our name field over here. So name is again going to be a string. So here I can just write yup dot string, and I am going to make it required. So let's write required, and then I'm going to write the error message if the user is not providing it. So we are going to display name is required. Okay, let's also add this comma so that its syntax is valid. Now after that, we are also requiring the user to provide us the fourth field, which is confirm password. Now this confirm password is a little bit tricky. Let me tell you how we are going to basically validate this one. So we are going to say that it has to be a string, okay, and we have to check if this is equal to the password, okay, that is provided by the user. So we are going to make use of this one off method over here. Now inside this we are going to add this array, okay. Inside this array we are going to write yup, and on yup we can use the reference, okay. Actually not the reference but ref. So here on the ref we are going to call it, okay, let me call this ref, and inside this we can actually specify the field that we are comparing with. So we are comparing confirm password with password field, so we have to write password like this, okay. And on this array, after this array we are going to basically write the error statement, which is password must match. So what we are basically doing with this condition is that we are checking if the confirm password is same as password or not. If it is not, then we are going to display this error message that password must match, okay. And I'm also going to make this one required. So here I'm just going to write please confirm your password, okay. So I hope this is clear how we are going to validate uh, our register form, okay. Now this is the schema that we're going to use. Let's now also copy the other things from the login page. So first of all, we need to get this thing in which we are basically using use form. So let me just get it straight over here. So inside sign up component, I'm just going to write it before returning JSX. So we are using use form and we are passing the schema to yup resolver, and we are also providing the default values. Let's also set the default value of name to empty string and also confirm password. So let me write confirm password, and that is also going to be empty string. Now we are also going to need this is loading state, so let me also get that from here, okay. So I'm just going to copy that one and let's paste it over here, and please make sure that you are importing use selector over here, otherwise it's going to throw you an error. So you can see I have imported use selector over here, okay. After that is done, let's go to the login page again, and I'm going to again copy this on submit function as well. Now let's paste that after this, use form. So on submit function will be executed when the form gets submitted. Here inside the console log, I'm just going to update this to sign up, or you can also call it register. So we will be able to see that this is the sign up data that we are sending to the API. Now let me just comment it out for 1 minute. After that, we are going to actually change this name of the function that we are calling over here. Actually, the action. because instead of login user, this time we are going to let me just show you over here inside auth.js slice. We can see we created this register user, and it only requires us to give this form data. That means the data that we are receiving from the form. So let me just uncomment it now, and I'm going to write over here instead of login user, it will be register user. So it will be register user, and you can see register user will be imported from Redux slices auth. Okay, and we can remove this navigate because it just needs the form data. Okay, now over here we need to now work on this form element first of all. So I'm just going to collapse everything inside of it. I mean everything, all the fields and the submit button as well. Now after that, you can see we also have this sign up with Google button. We don't need it right now, so I'm just going to remove this one. And over here inside the form, we are now going to hook it with the React hook form. And in order to do that, we have to just call this on submit. Okay, now inside this on submit, we have to make use of this handle submit that we are getting from the use form. So here I'm just going to call handle submit, and inside this we need to pass the on submit function. Okay, this one. So now the hook form is now integrated with this form, and next thing is to register all the fields. So first of all, let's start with the name field. Here we have a simple input with type text, and we are going to now register this field by calling register and passing the field name as name. Okay, so now you can see we are calling register, and then we are destructuring the result of it. Okay, that means the return value. So all of those will be passed as props to this input component. Okay, now here we can also display the error message. So this is the div which is actually containing the input along with the icon towards the end. So here after that div, I'm just going to write errors. Okay, this is the errors object that you can see. We are extracting it from the form state. Now on these errors, we are going to get the errors for each field like name, email, password, and confirm password. So here I'm interested in errors related to name field. So I'm just going to write a condition. If we have any error on the name field, then I'm going to display a paragraph tag. Okay, and inside this paragraph tag, I want to display some text, and that will be errors dot name dot message. Okay, now on this paragraph, let's actually give it some styling. So here I'm just going to write text red because it will be used to display error message. So red color will be suitable for it. Also, I'm going to make it text size small. Let's actually see what text size we have used inside the login form, and then we'll do the same. So here you can see the text size is SM. So here again, I'm going to use text SM. Now we have to repeat the same thing for the other fields as well. So on this email field, I'm going to now write inside input as a prop. Inside this curly bracket, we are going to destructure the result of calling the register function. And inside this register, we need to specify the key for this field, which is email. And after that, again, I'm just going to copy this line, and we just need to change this name to email. So after this div, which has this class name of relative, I'm going to paste it over here, and let's replace this name in these two. Actually, I don't want to replace it over here, so I'm just going to replace this one with email, and also actually it changed over here as well. So I'm just going to write it as class name, and over here I want it to be email. Okay, like this. Now let's do the same thing for the password and confirm password. So I'm just going to speed it up because it's the repetitive stuff. So call register. Actually, we have to place three dots over here. That's why it's not suggesting me. Now after calling this register, inside this we need to pass password as the field name. Then again we need to copy and paste this thing. So copy it after this div with class relative. I'm going to display the error. So let's write over here. I'm just going to select. Actually, let me make it like this, and then we can select the email, and I'm going to replace this email with password. So let me write password over here. Then let's do the same thing for the last field, which is confirm password. So here I'm just going to again register this. So let's destructure the result of calling the register function. Inside this, again, we need to pass the key name, which is confirm password. And after copying that thing, and I'm going to paste over here. Let's replace the email with confirm password this time. Let me, okay. Now I'm going to just replace these two emails with confirm password. Okay. So everything is, set it up correctly now except for the submit button. So let's open up this div which contains our submit button. Instead of creating a button out of input, I'm actually going to make use of button element from the HTML. So let me make it, I'm actually, it was self-closing before. Now I have made it like this. And I'm just going to remove this on click because we don't need to, create any form submit handler, because when this event type, that is submit, happens, this function will be executed automatically. This one that we have created at the top on submit, because this button is also a part of the form. You can see this form is extending till here and the button is inside it. So here, instead of writing the value create account over there, I'm just going to write it inside the button. Okay, but we can take some idea from the login page. Login, actually, you can see over here inside the button, we are checking if is submitting or is loading is true. In that case, we are going to display submitting. Otherwise, the actual text that we want to display. So here, I'm just going to copy create account and let's write create account over here. And also one more thing, let's remove value from here. And I want to add one thing, that is when this button should be disabled. So this should be disabled when either is submitting or is loading is true. So here I'm just going to write is submitting or is loading. Okay. So now this is already set it up correctly. So that means our sign up form is now ready. So when we fill in some data, okay, it will this function will be executed when the form gets submitted. We're also going to see the text changing on the sign up button. So let me go back one step. I'm just going to refresh it. Okay. Now, if I try to hit the create account button, then you can see that all these fields are now required and we have validation over these fields. Okay. And there is one more thing that we can change. Like if you want to, make the border color red when the field is not, field has some error. So you can do that in the same way like we did inside the login form. You can see inside the login form, we also changed some, we have written this condition inside each field. So I'm just going to copy it from here. Let's go to the sign up page and I'm going to show you this on the first input actually. So on this class name, we are going to just first of all, wrap it inside curly bracket and then backticks. After that, let me remove the double quotes. So I'm just removing the double quotes. Also, I'm going to format it and word wrap it. Now you can see all the classes in the screen size. Okay. So what we are going to do now, we need to change some rules over here. So inside dollar sign curly bracket, we are checking the name field has if the name field has error. If it has error, then border color should be red, and also in the focus state border should be red. Otherwise, border should be border stroke. Okay. So here I'm just going to now you can see when this field has some error, the borders are also red, but in other fields we can do the same thing. Okay. So if now I let's just write some dummy values over here in order to test it out if this is working. So I'm just going to type something like I have written, actually let me tell you, I have written 123456 as my password, and I'm going to show you that this this is going to show some error if I type something else. So if I type ASDFGH, you see it's saying that password must match. Okay. But if I type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the error is gone. So that means our validation is working perfectly. And now if I click on this create account button, if I hit that, actually we are going to see something inside the console. So let me clear it. And now we're going to hit this button, create account. It said submitting. And now actually from the API, we got this error that email is already in use, because inside my database, I already have a user with this email and the email field is set to unique inside the schema. So that is why we got the error. And we can see in our console, you can see that we submitted this form data and we got this response from the API saying that the message was email is already in use and the status was error. You can also check that inside the network tab we submitted the sign up call. Actually the payload was this, that means the form data that we submitted, and the response that we got back is this. Okay. And let me also show you from where we are getting this response. If you go to the backend and you look inside the routes auth.js, and if you go to the sign up, actually this one, auth controller.register, You can see we are actually checking when we get the email. We check inside our database if we already have a user with that email, and we check if the user is already verified or not. If the user exists and the user is already verified, then we send this error. So this is why we got to see that error. Now, if I just type some other email over here, let me just type another email. So here I'm just going to write abc@gmail.com. Okay, and let me also change the name to test account. Okay, then if I submit it now, let's see what happens. It says submitting right now, and you see it's saying OTP sent successfully, but we didn't get redirected to the next page, which is uh, where we get the form to fill in the OTP. You can see inside our backend. Actually, there is also some error while we are sending the mail. So we're going to now fix this thing, because when this auth controller was executed, actually it's saying that missing credentials for claim SMTP. That means there is some error inside the mailer. So let's go to the service mailer.js, and over here you can see we are using node mailer user and node mailer app password from the config env. We have also set it up the path over here. Not only config is also included in this. Let's see. Inside config env, we have Node Miller app password and Node Miller user. Actually, what happened? I created this Node Miller app password before and I deleted it from my account. So this is not valid anymore. So that means I need to create another Node Miller app password. So that is why we are getting this error. Okay. Inside, that means our server is crashing. So we need to handle this case. Okay. But for now, you can understand that the form is getting submitted and we are also getting some response back from the backend. So we are going to now continue in the next video where we fix this problem, and also we are going to add validation to the OTP input form, and we'll also see how to add some extra features to it. So that's the stuff for the next video. I'm going to stop this right now over here. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask me in the comment section. And also, please make sure to join the Discord server if you want to just, discuss anything with other people who are inside this, connected to this channel. And before ending this video, let me also ask you a favor. Please make sure to, like this video if you get benefit from my content. And you can also subscribe to the channel to support it. So that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video.